So I'm so honored to be here with Dakota. Dakota is not only a water priestess, an ordained water priestess, but she's also a guide and a leader and someone who I consider one of my mentors and teachers, having participated in her profound and transformational 6-month water priestess mystery school. So welcome, Dakota.
Thank you so much, Amy. I'm so grateful to be here with you. Thank you for creating this.
And so how did you decide on the Azores? How did you consider coming here for your retreat?
The waters called me. So I knew I've held all my retreats in Hawaii. I live on the island of Kauai, and we have a lot of special water here. But a lot of what I do also I love to do in hot springs or warm water springs, like floating women and aquatic body work. And so I was looking for a place in Europe that had hot springs and cold springs and ocean and waterfalls and all the water. I was looking at all the islands, Greece and Italy, and I was looking and nothing felt right. And then I had this little intuition, Dakota, why don't you look in San Miguel? And so I looked it up and I found your retreat center instantly. And I just knew it was this divine alignment. Everything was perfect. The hot spring waterfalls, the warm springs in the ocean, the regular hot springs, the abundance of amazing spring water to drink, and then your beautiful oasis retreat center with all your fruit trees and the yoga studio. It just was so perfect. It was like divinely guided. And then, of course, such a gift to get to know you and feel such a kinship and honestly a deep love for you and our connection. So that feels like an extra layer that's really special.
One of the really cool things, I don't know if you heard this, but people refer to the Azores, specifically San Miguel, because it's the most volcanic island, as if Hawaii and Ireland had a baby. This is the baby of Hawaii and Ireland because it's got the green of Ireland and that kind of landscape, and of course the volcanic activity that is akin to Hawaii. So I don't know if you heard that, you knew that when you were planning here, but
I think you told me afterwards, and it's so synchronistic because actually Ireland has been calling me so deeply, and we're planning on going after the retreat in the Azores. So I think there's
wow.
a connection between Hawaii and Ireland and the Azores.
Wow, and you've read If Women Rose Rooted. I think I got that recommendation from you.
I love that book.
Yeah, that really makes me want to go to Ireland too. Yeah, no, I definitely think these places, these energy spots are super powerful. And I think it goes back to why when we can travel again, I think that why we travel is going to be so much more than it's going to be so much more about the energy of the places that we're going and how to connect to that energy, how to tap into it, because we are part of it and it's part of us. And it's just how do we honor connection? So,
Oh my God, such deep chills when you said that. It's really so true. And one of the best ways that I love to connect to a place when I first arrive is I'll go find a spring and I will drink water from the place. Because not only does that water have minerals and all the things that we can scientifically measure, but it has the energy, the spirit of the place. And a lot of springs have different guardians. There can be nymphs or water dragons and different spirits that guard different places. So when you start to go to a spring regularly, I always recommend bringing offerings, whether you offer flowers or crystals or even a piece of your hair is a really beautiful offering, songs, really giving to the water. And that's something that I love to do at retreats, but also just to connect deeper and to be in the water together. Like you were saying, the connecting to the sacred feminine. For me, when I connected to the waters and I started working with women and doing aquatic body work and floating people in the water, I started to realize this softness and this strength, this deep feminine power that's not a power over, it's a power through unity and through connection. And the teachings of the water of love, unconditional love, where she washes us all clean equally. She is so abundant in her love and her grace. And unity, water doesn't know boundaries. It flows from your ocean to the ocean here, to the sky and to the springs, and this sense of connectivity that we're all divinely connected. And these messages and these times especially are something that's so needed that really, like, you are loved, you are worthy, you are precious, you are connected, you are not alone. Like, these are things that we really need to remind each other of. And the water always reminds me of that. And especially when I'm with other women in the water and doing ceremony and ritual, it's so profound, the
Yeah,
experience we have together.
that is so touching when you're speaking. I wonder, as you are giving so much to women and you're teaching, how do you care for yourself? What are some of the things that you do, and what are some of the things that have helped you the most in the dark times? Because we've all had moments where we've needed, a little pick me up, or we've had our moments of grief or anger or whatever that was. Can you share a little bit about how you nurtured yourself?
Absolutely. Well, it's all the practices that I teach. There's so many, there's such a plethora. But really, my two anchor points that I do every day, and it's something that just really helps me drop in, is I commune with my water altar. I have a water shrine, and I go and I do prayers. I go to this water and I stir the water and I infuse the water with prayers for the planet, for humanity, for the collective. And this for me really helps me to connect to the greater sense of love and of care. And then I pray with this water for a full month, full lunar cycle. And then every new moon, I offer this water that I've been praying with back to the earth or back to the ocean. And it's such a profound practice for me. Really helps me to drop in every morning to the vision of heaven on earth, which I truly, like, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to create heaven on earth in my life and in as many lives as I can touch. And then I also have a water prayer practice where I fill a glass full of drinking water and then pray prayers for my own body. And so I pray collective prayers into the water altar, and then into the glass of water, I pray prayers for my body. Anything physically I might need, emotionally, I speak that into the water, and then I drink that, and I let the water fill me with those prayers. And those two practices are something that is so simple, but it just starts my day out right every day. And it's something that I can always come back to.
Yes, and those of us watching this are actually going to have access to some recordings that teach folks how to do this. Do you want to share a little bit about what's in there?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I have a free introduction to water priestessing on my website, dakotachanel.com. It's under offerings. And in that email, you get a full video on creating a water altar and the prayer and the offerings and how to do that. And then I also include how to do the drinking water prayer, and then also more about gathering spring water. There's an amazing site that I steward with my beloved, findaspring.com, where you can find springs all over the world, and I share more about the power of spring water and also alternatives. Not everyone has access to pure spring water, so I do share about that as well. And there's a few other little magic surprises in there. So yeah, I hope that that's a good resource to you.
Well, that's when you first reached out, and I was looking into, your website and a little bit about you, because I hadn't really heard what is a water priestess. I wasn't familiar with that. It's something I'd heard thrown around. And when I downloaded these guides, actually, I was blown away. These are practices that, thanks to your teachings, I incorporate now here. And as we were sharing, spring water is what we've always been promoting guests to drink our tap water, which is treated and which is wonderful. And it's incredible how many tourists come through here and buy single-use plastics. And so we, as a center, have made a tremendous effort to educate people. And what you shared enabled us to educate people even further. So not only is it, yes, our tap water is safe, and yes, you can protect, not having whales and sea life, ingest plastics, but this spring water is actually infused with the essence of this place, and actually providing some of the intel and science behind the effectiveness and the sacredness of spring water. So that has been unbelievable. And I'm really excited to direct folks to those resources, I should say. Besides the hot waterfall and the spring water, what do you feel or envision, or what are you looking forward to most when you can be here?
Oh, I just got chills. So many things. Of course, I'm looking forward to meeting you and being in your beautiful home space. I'm looking forward to being with the land. That land actually has called me for years. I almost went years ago when I was in Europe for actually, I was doing a water priestess pilgrimage, making offerings to water and gathering waters all around Europe. And I felt so called to go, and I didn't have enough time. And I remember being like, I will go back there one day. And so I've always felt this deep call. And actually, I've heard that your island kind of is connected to the energy of Archangel Michael. And I
Yes.
had a really profound dream with Archangel Michael where he gave me this sacred book. And he told me that this retreat was going to be really powerful and life changing. And he shared that he shared so many things about the power of the number 888 and abundance. And then really the culmination was the teachings of sacred union. So of the masculine and the feminine coming back together in harmony. And that got me even more excited to travel to the island. And I'm so excited to really come, and the group of women that's come together for this is so special, and to be with all of them and to do these ceremonies and these practices and these offerings. Like, I just know that magic and miracles are going to happen, and I can't wait to be in that, because I can feel it, and the buildup has been so much that I just know when it's finally happening, it's going to be so transformational and powerful. Yeah. And that ripple, I just hope us being there is such a powerful blessing. Like, I feel it's such a power spot, that island, and the rituals that we're going to do, blessing the waters together, just have that ripple out and be a gift to the whales and the dolphins and the waters, and the whole entire island. And I've also heard that it's the remnants of Atlantis. And I live on Kauai, which is, more Lemurian energy. And the Azores is, I've heard, Atlantis. There's a pyramid that was found off the coast. So I feel this healing of timelines as well. It feels really multidimensional.
Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, and yes. So yes, Archangel Michael, Saint Michael, San Miguel, that's the name. He's the patron saint of this island, and he's actually on our he's a saint protecting Minuvita, actually. So he's there on our property, and the abundance, what I really feel that travel is going to be, and what we as a center want to really hone in on more than ever, I think we've been doing this, is, you travel to learn, you travel to connect. There's leisurely travel, and, hey, I've loved a trip just to get away and get some sun and whatever. There's trips like that. But this place, the Azores in particular, San Miguel, and even more specifically our center at Minuvita, we really want to enable people on a journey of discovery, and that connection, that sacredness that leaders like you bring. We're aligning both of our visions and missions and purpose. And so that is going to bring this enormous support and abundance and connection. And you mentioned transformation. Yeah, I think that's, it's incredible to be part of that and to support people on their journeys of evolving, right? Evolving and elevating their own consciousness. And then on the Atlantis piece, this is something I'm really passionate about. I've felt it since I got here. So many people come here and they talk about the energy. And it's funny, I think with everything that's happened, I think people are more open about talking about these things. And we certainly now are about, yes, this is Atlantis. This is, studies show, and they've been geographical. They look at maps from back when Plato talked about Atlantis. And a lot of this place in particular is the bridge between worlds, because this is geopolitically, it's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It's always been on the trade route from India during the spice trade and from the East. And then now it's been this meeting point between Europe and North America. And the way that this island adapts and that it's grown and changed so quickly, this is such a powerful place on those three plates, the North American, the European, and the African plate. And it's on the same ridge as Iceland. And so, yeah, it's going to be really cool to have your retreat here and to be part of it. It's, and I think that people, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts, but I feel like the people that will travel and the type of travel will be so much more about this learning and connection. And I'd love to hear if you agree or if you want to expand on that.
Absolutely. And I just want to touch on what you shared. I had no idea that you really had a picture of Archangel Michael and that he's really the saint of the retreat center. Oh, it makes so much sense then why he came to me in that dream. Wow, so beautiful. And I just learned so much from you that I didn't know about the tectonic plates and the connections. Wow, thank you for expanding on that. And yes, I agree with you 100%. I feel like more than ever, it's really time. Like now is the awakening. It's time. We're letting go. Old systems are dying. They're crumbling. So every civilization has crumbled when you look at it. But what's remained? Mother Nature. All the things that are true beyond civilizations, cultures, and connecting back to that and traveling to let places awaken you. I know for me, for example, when I came to Kauai, being here on this land, it activated so much in me that otherwise did not activate until I came here. Places do that. So I know that also going to the Azores is going to have that quantum activation effect as well. And I feel that people will travel more for that reason. Like you said, it's like, oh, I just want to get some sunshine. Like, no, I want to travel and go to this place and evolve and quantum leap and change my life and make a difference in the world and traveling with more purpose.
Yeah, yes. And one thing to add about Atlantis is the legend goes that the people of Atlantis had these supernatural and psychic powers. And for anyone listening who's not familiar with this, so the legend goes that these people had these superpowers and that we could commune with the gods and that we could create material and matter just through thinking about it and all these incredible powers. And so what happened, unfortunately, is that these powers were used for personal advancement and greed. And people started abusing these powers. Sound familiar to now? And so what happened was Atlantis was sunk. There was a lot of theories it was sunk. There was volcanic eruptions, etc. And today, what are the islands of the Azores are actually the mountaintops of Atlantis from that time. And there's so much evidence. You mentioned the pyramid off of Terceira. It's one of the nearby islands. There's tons of evidence to this. There's a whole book written about it that you can check out when you come here. But what's really interesting to me is that now people from all over the world are being called back. We're being called back. It's part of why I was drawn to move here. It's part of why all of a sudden, just in the last year and a half, hundreds of people are now moving here. There used to be nobody here. When I first moved here 5 years ago, there was no one else that wasn't here for retirement, for example. It was just people that had a connection, that had a Zorian family. But now all over the world, people are coming and we are being given a chance to rise up. We're being given a chance to lead with purpose, to be authentic. And that power is now going to be synonymous with responsibility. Responsibility to nurture our planet, to nurture our communities, and to nurture ourselves, which is what I feel that you embody, this nurturing of the self, this huge feminine, this divine feminine aspect, which is about nurturing. And it's just going to be amazing when we have our retreat. I'm like so excited.
I just got so many chills. What you shared, it touched my heart really deeply. So true. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited. Wow. Well, clearly we have a lot to connect on when we finally meet in person. I can't believe we haven't met in person yet.
So I'm really excited to experience your cooking. Oh my gosh, the cordials that your beloved makes and everything, the local or beyond organic, so incredible. I just can't wait to taste your food.
Yeah, we've been eating really well. We unfortunately haven't been able to do our normal dinners. We usually do them, besides the retreats, we have them with guests, but this year we just hasn't worked out, obviously, or in 2020 it hasn't worked out, but we've been eating so well and we've expanded so much of what we've grown, and our soil and our land is so fertile and so rich now because we've had a few years of composting and putting things in, and the food and the recipes that Joao has created that you guys are going to get to enjoy. It's I think it'll be a really big part of the transformational and very divine experience, and so that's fantastic.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I feel that one of your biggest, and you have so many offerings, but one of the biggest one is really ritual. And so how have you adapted some of those? And you mentioned online, but you're still sharing these with people. Have you noticed that there's still the practice of ritual has still been an important part of people's lives in this time?
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like, honestly, for me, it's been the anchor point. It's been what fills my heart, my soul, and really brings me back into communion with Source.
Yeah.
And there's such a power in ceremony. And what it does is it brings us into that communion and that connection with that energy of creation, that energy of love. And of course, my favorite way to work with that is through the water. And as we know, water is life. Our bodies are over 99% water at the molecular level. This planet is mostly water. And so when I started to really awaken to the magic of water and the understanding of how water moves in my body, it really dropped me into myself and into caring for the planet in an even deeper way. And it really changed my life. And so my hope is just to be able to share that and to inspire others to awaken to the beauty of water and remember the sacredness. And something that we were talking about before this call is the beauty of spring water. And this is something that I'm so passionate about. You know, the water that we drink becomes our blood in under 5 minutes. It's so quick. And it's really important, the quality of water that we're drinking. And most people don't understand that a lot of the bottled water that we get at the store or the tap water actually isn't the best water for us to drink. And I could talk about this for an hour. There's so much here. It's such a rich topic. But basically, there's all kinds of treatments and chemicals and things that get in the water to where the water becomes something called bulk water or dead water, to where it no longer has the same crystalline structure. And structured water, when you drink structured water, you feel the difference almost immediately. And I can taste water and I can tell if it's spring structured water or if it's not. You really become so in tune. And my absolute favorite kind of water is spring water because it comes from so deep within the earth. And then when the earth is ready and says, okay, this water is available to humans and animals and plants, she literally, it goes up against gravity, rises through all the layers of the earth and bursts forth on the surface. And I like to think of it as being something that's a gift from the depth of the planet. And it's so special to drink this water.
Well, I wanna thank you for taking the time to share your wisdom and your knowledge with us here today. And I hope that those watching who may be coming on the retreat are getting really excited, and those not coming on the retreat check you out. And I am just so grateful for this connection. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Such a joy to talk with you today. I can't wait to come be in your beautiful retreat center and have this amazing experience.